The hottest strategies in 2024 in wholesaling real estate. Guys, it's Rick in, and today we are going to talk about stuff that actually works in 2024. And I'm specifically talking about niche lists. I'm going to go into the best niche lists you can use right now that are actually getting tractions. And here's the deal. I'm going to give you the truth on it. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe button to continue to receive the best information on wholesaling today. So niche lists, what are they? They're basically a list of specialized traits that's usually going to indicate multiple pain points for a great wholesale deal. What do I mean by that? It's usually going to be some sign of deferred maintenance that's done by either a government agency or even a private agencies that actually accumulates addresses of properties that have distress points, meaning they basically need updating, they have issues going on with them. Let's face it, just ugly houses. Now, you can utilize these lists to find and locate motivated sellers. And here's the deal, guys. Wherever there's smoke, there's fire. And it's so hard to find a fire unless you find the smoke. That's why I love niche lists. So let's get into it. Let me go over my favorite niche lists to work on in 2024. Now, I'm going to give you my favorite and most used ones that I use right off the bat, and it's Probate List. And honestly, I've been doing Probate List since early 2013, and I love doing probates. And the probate is actually a legal process in which the deceased person's heirs take over the property. And it is a formal process to make sure that the financial arrangements get made. So it's fair to say probates are a great indicator that a wholesale deal could be inevitable. Let's face it, on a probate, basically, there's usually deferred maintenance. Why? Because they're taking care of the loved one that needs the medical attention, and that's the best way to take care of family. A lot of time, the new owner, which is going to be the PR, which stands for personal representative, or the executor, is sometimes often out of state, and they definitely don't live on the property. So when the person passes away, the property's already vacant. It needs work. Guys, this is the perfect formula to put a wholesale deal together. Remember, we're never going to make somebody sell us a property, but if it's vacant, it has deferred maintenance and it's costing them every month to maintain that property with no income. These types of properties, probates, are absolutely right. Now, the easiest thing I can tell you to get probates is you can go down to your county courthouse and you can pull the probate files. You have to find the PR, the executor, basically skip trace it. And I would call them and I will also mail them a letter. If you want to get my template with Flip with Rick, go over to freewholesaling.com and I'll share my template with you so you don't have to overthink it. Guys, probates are cheap. There's usually under 75 to 80 leads per month within the county you choose, and it is highly effective. You have to be patient, and here's the best part. They are the absolute most profitable deals you can do in wholesaling, hands down. I got 20 plus years data to show you this. Guys, take advantage of probates, one of the greatest niche lists ever. My next favorite list is code violations, and code violations is basically what it says is a county and a city sets codes to keep properties values up. And when codes are broken, they place an enforcement agency, which is their own agency, which is a government agency, to basically give notice to the homeowner. And I'll give you a couple of examples. When the grass gets high, they put a blue tarp on the roof permanently and the tarp starts to turn white, or like they board up the windows forever. Most cities and towns have ordinances against that. And basically, they put a notice on the door, they send a legal correspondence, they even knock on your door. And if you don't correct the action, usually within 30 days, you can get a fine and a lien placed against the house anywhere from $50 to $100 a day, and it adds up. Now, most people don't choose to be on the code violation list. The reality is either a neighbor reported him, what we call a Karen. I apologize if your name is Karen. I know it's terrible, but that's the common theme now. Or the city has employees drive by and they basically do driving for dollars for you by collecting all these addresses. And by the city creating what we call a niche list, where there's smoke, there's fire, guys, there is wonderful deals. Code violations is how I started in wholesaling, and I still do it to this day. It is absolutely golden. So now, I'm going to give you a little hint on a lot of these lists I'm talking about today. You're not the only person chasing them down. In fact, they become quite popular. Why? Because they're free and they work. And when you have a free list that works, it will get competition. Now, when you go there, you're going to get some resistance. I teach you how to overcome that resistance. Don't be the person when they tell you no, you walk away. You have to learn to overcome at least 2 objections. If you want to learn more how to do that, go over to freewholesaling.com. But to overcome a resistance, you have to beat it with persistence. Because you're you're a wholesaler, I know you think outside the box and you don't just take a no for an answer. Now, that doesn't mean run people over, be mean, be nasty. You just have to be very persistent and keep asking the right questions. Don't give up. It doesn't mean you're going to get 100% of the list that I'm going to give you today, but if you don't ask, you will never get. And if you don't get them, you're not going to get great wholesale deals. My next niche list is the water shutoff. And basically you go to your utility department and you get a list of all the waters that have been shut off in the last 30 days. Now, the requirement to this is it has to be a public utility company. If it's private, you're probably not going to get any information. I'm going to be honest with you. This isn't an easy list to get. You're thinking, Rick, why do I need the water shutoff list? Why? Because if somebody shut off the water to their house, there is a high probability that house has issues and it most likely needs to be sold. Remember, if the water's off, you can't have any running water. You can't run the kitchen. You can't run the bathrooms. You definitely can't take a shower or do anything. And honestly, either a tenant's moving out and they've ran the bill up and the landlord might get stuck with it, or most likely, if they're not taking showers or anything like that, the house is probably going to be in bad shape. This is a great opportunity to reach out to the owner of the property and see if they're interested in selling it. Do not overlook this list. Not the easiest list to get, but man, there is a high probability if they're on this list that property is going to turn over. Why not you, the wholesaler, take the opportunity to reach out to them and see if you can strike a deal. So my next favorite niche list is going to be fire damage properties. Exactly what it sounds like. How do you get this list? Just go to your fire department, kill them with kindness, because these are wonderful people and they do a job that is, to be honest with you, is needed. We need more great firefighters, and please don't give them a hard time because they do what a lot of us are not willing to do. So I love firefighters. They keep our community safe. Now, what I want is a list of all the properties in the last 30 days that they've been called to a fire. Most of these are small kitchen fires. Sometimes they're like bathroom with electrical issues. And a lot of these fires are just modest. Now, some are major. Don't worry, guys. If you're doing a fire damage, people always say, Rick, how do you price them out? Most of that is done for you by the insurance company or an insurance adjuster. Just ask that from the homeowner. They will usually voluntarily give it to you. And guys, these take a little bit longer to sell. There is a specialized buyer for it, but rehabbers that love to buy fire damage properties are in huge demand of properties like this. Why not? Someone's going to get a discount. It might as well be you. Go out and find these properties. Now, another niche list that you probably haven't really thought about too much that is really popular, and I've had tremendous success with it, is the arrest records. And I know, like, arrest records, are you kidding me, Rick? That's crazy. Think about this. People that get arrested, that go away to jail for long periods of time, usually 2+ years, if they have a house, they usually need to sell it. Honestly, it's their only option to sell it. And they don't have a lot of time. They usually wait till the last minute. That's why I love the arrest record. So simply go to your sheriff's department website. You don't have to physically go there, or it's your city police, or you can do both. They're usually a 1-2 combo. Look up the most recent arrest records, and you're looking for people that basically have multiple offenses. Now, here's what I do. The most common ones I do are DUIs, batteries, and theft. Now, I honestly don't care what people got arrested for, but like the reality is, like, Rick, you don't go to jail for a DUI. Your first one usually get a freebie and have to fight with a lawyer, but after their second and third time, they actually go away for a significant amount of time. And that's probably the most popular one I do. And if they own a house, I just cross-reference the local county property appraiser site and see if they own property. And if they do, I reach out to them. Now, I will warn you, there is a lot of drama with these types of deals. But remember, you pick and choose who you want to work with. Don't ever risk your safety. And if you're not comfortable, deal with them over the phone, whatever you got to do. But if they got to sell a house, if they're being incarcerated or not, it doesn't matter. A house that needs to be sold through a wholesaler needs to be taken care of. Honestly, I've got some of my best deals this way, and this actually works. Very few people ever go through the arrest records. Why not be you? Just have to cross-reference and see if they own property in your local county or whatever virtual market you service. Don't overlook this, guys. It's not as hard as you think it is. I promise. Another great niche list that nobody talks about and very underutilized is your garage sale list. And like, Rick, you got us going to garage sales. No, listen, I don't want you to actually go to the garage sale. I want you to look up all the garage sales. You can look them up online, Facebook, any type of social media, or sometimes the county and the city post permits of garage sales that are going on. And you want to find all the garage sales. So typically it's a Saturday thing, maybe a little bit Sunday, but Saturday's the big day for that. And basically what you are looking for is you're looking for garage sales. And then once they get that address, you're going to cross-reference that address and see if it is landlord owned. How do I know if it's landlord owned? You will see there is a different mailing address from the physical property address. Odds are if they're having a garage sale, the landlord doesn't know about it. And I use this information. I basically look up the landlord's phone number. I skip trace it. I call them and say, listen, I see you got a garage sale going on at 123 US Main Street in your property. Yeah. And he'll say, I'm not having a garage sale. And they put 2 and 2 together to figure out their tenants moving out. Because garage sales are always synonymous with people moving out. Now, a lot of these properties are in really bad shape, and depending on what time of year is, they do a midnight move out. They do a garage sale and they take all their stuff, they sell whatever they can, and they move on, and the property usually looks really rough. And if you can provide this intel to the landlord and help them out, if they decide to sell, it will be that time when it's vacant. There's no money coming in. It needs work. This is a perfect opportunity for a wholesaler. Now, I want to find the landlord that owns 4 properties or less, and typically I love the ones that own it in their name. Those are my favorite types of deals. Make sure you avoid garage sale people that do this every week. They're a waste of your time. They do it as a business. You're just looking for someone doing random garage sales. The best way is to reach out to the landlord via cold calling is the best way. You can do mail, but you need speed in this because speed's what delivers the surprise to the landlord. And if you can help that landlord out, if he or she ever decides to sell, you've already built a relationship, you have first shot. And these are off-market properties that nobody else knows, that potentially are vacant, have no rental income coming in, and need a lot of work because they get trashed by tenants. Don't overlook the garage sale list. It works, guys. This is why we call it a niche list. Now, last but not least, I would be disappointed if I didn't tell you about one of the most tried and truest niche lists, which is basically driving for dollars. And that's basically when you get in your car, a little bit challenging to do this virtually unless you hire someone out to do it, maybe get some bird dogs to do it. But you basically get in your car and you go out and you collect addresses. The more the merrier. Just look for houses that look out of place, that have deferred maintenance, high grass, blue tarps, boarded up windows, deferred maintenance, whatever it is, and fill it up. Keep taking different routes every time you go out. And the more you get, the better the odds. Remember, if I have a driving for dollars list versus a 10,000 high equity list, if I had 300 leads driving for dollars, it's going to way outperform the paid list of 10,000. Why? Because you, the wholesaler, put your eyes on that property. You know it's ugly. You know it has issues. You just got to find out if the seller is motivated enough to sell it to you. And if you do that, it is a very, very high probability list. You don't need thousands, but a couple hundred. And the more you fill it up, the more opportunity is. Honestly, I've got some of my greatest deals this way. And it does cost you time, cost you a little bit of gas money. But guys, I don't care if you're getting your tennis shoes on your bike. Driving for dollars, it works. It's always worked. Honestly, it's worked for the last 100 years since they've basically invented cars, bikes, and even horses back in the day. But we don't talk about driving for dollars. You know why? Because it's not sexy. It's not a software. Here's the deal. It works. Guys, some of the most boring, redundant techniques like niche lists are the most effective and they work. Are they sexy? No. Are they effective? Absolutely. It's up to you to take advantage of these niche lists. You let me know which ones you are taking advantage of, and let me know if you need more information on these lists. If you want to learn in detail how to use these lists, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach teach you in detail for free how to do this because you deserve to get the truth. I want to get you your first deal in wholesaling. Not only your first deal through freewholesaling.com, I get you your first $100,000. You've got to put in the work. So I love wholesaling. Guys, utilize these niche lists. And listen, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so I can continue to deliver you the best information on wholesaling. You guys have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.